Stop scrolling. Seriously, what if you could get paid to make video ads for real brands without ever once showing your face on camera? Let's dive right into this explainer and look at exactly how creators are doing that in 2026. Look, if you've ever felt intimidated by the camera, or maybe you just lack the right lighting and gear, AI avatar technology just completely obliterated that barrier. We're talking zero equipment, no filming, no being on camera at all. And brands are absolutely buying in. They're already paying creators anywhere from $50 to well over $500 per video using AI avatars, specifically for this highly convincing ad content. But here's where it gets really crazy. The smartest creators out there, they aren't just doing one-offs. They're stacking these individual videos into massive $2,000 to $3,000 monthly retainers. So definitely stick with me to the end of this explainer because I'm giving you the complete 2026 playbook. That includes a strict 7-day action plan to help you land your very first paid brief. That action plan is what's actually going to get you paid. All right, let's start with what we call the 99% discount and why brands are completely ditching traditional shoots. What's super interesting here is the pure economics driving the whole shift. Think about it. A traditional ad involves shipping physical products, waiting around for weeks, and it usually costs a brand $80 to $100 minimum just for one video. But an AI avatar, that generates a comparable spokesperson in minutes for literally under $1. Zero shipping, zero scheduling, that is a massive 99% cost reduction, and it completely explains why marketers are just rushing into this space. And look, this isn't replacing user-generated content because it's some cheap fake. It's winning because the format itself just performs. Brands aren't actually paying for a specific human face, right? They're paying for the UGC format. 92% of consumers trust user-generated content way more than polished commercials, and that leads to up to 4 times the click-through rate. Now, I've got a massive pro tip for you here. Before you go out and build anything, sit down and watch 5 real AI UGC ads back-to-back on any platform. You'll instantly spot the difference between a cheap synthetic video and one that truly converts and keeps the viewer locked in on the message. So I'm curious, drop a comment below. Would you pivot to using AI avatars right now, or do you kind of still prefer jumping in front of the camera yourself? Let me know. Okay, moving on to ad fatigue and the strict honesty rules you have to follow. This is all about volume versus transparency, and is how you build real, lasting demand. You know how it is, brands need literally hundreds of variations to combat ad fatigue across TikTok and Instagram. When the exact same ad is shown way too many times to the same audience, it just stops converting. Traditional video production cannot possibly keep pace with that massive volume requirement. But AI avatars? They absolutely can. But here is the absolute golden rule. Because of evolving platform policies on YouTube and Meta, you must disclose your AI methods up front. It's non-negotiable. Some brands are totally fine using AI for their performance ads, while others might need a real human for legal reasons. Misrepresenting your AI content as traditionally filmed is literally the fastest way to permanently burn a bridge with a client. Transparency is what actually builds repeat business. So, does that level of transparency scare you? Would you freely disclose your AI methods, or are you afraid it might cost you the client? Sound off in the comments below. All right, let's get into the really fun part. The core value of this explainer, the actual money. We're looking at 4 ways to get paid by stacking revenue layers, because trust me, it is never just one flat rate. The real secret sauce is in how you stack these layers. First, you start with your base creation fee. Second, you charge licensing premiums for the brand's right to run it as a paid ad. That's often a 50 to 300% markup for a 30 or 90-day run. Third, you add whitelisting, where brands actually pay to run those ads through your personal social handle. And fourth, the holy grail, you eventually bundle it all into agency-level monthly retainers for $2 to $3,000. Which brings us to another crucial pro tip. Never ever quote a single flat number for a video. If you forget to separate your licensing fees from your base creation fees, you're leaving a massive amount of income on the table. Always quote the creation fee and the license term as 2 completely separate line items. Every single time. Out of those 4 revenue layers, which one seems the most lucrative to you? Which one gets you the most excited? Drop a comment. Okay, so knowing how the money works is awesome, but you need the right software to actually pull this off. Let's look at choosing your AI avatar tools and the heavy hitters for 2026. Depending on your exact niche, you've got some very distinct options. HeyGen is offering the most jaw-dropping overall realism with full-body motion. OurKids is hyper-focused purely on performance ad specialists. ImagineArt bundles avatars and voice generation together, which makes it absolutely perfect for beginners who just want everything on one platform. Synthesia is super established for corporate workflows, and Make UGC is amazing for quickly matching specific e-commerce aesthetics since they have a massive library of over 100 pre-built avatars. Quick pro tip before you jump in, do not spend a dime until you run the exact same script through 2 different tools. Seriously, before you subscribe to either one. The realism and voice quality gap becomes incredibly obvious within about 30 seconds when you see them side by side. Make sure you model your real costs at scale before committing. All right, here we go. The 7-day action plan. Landing your first brief. To deliver on the promise I made at the beginning of this explainer, here is the exact playbook. This right here is where the magic happens. Let's break this down into a strict step-by-step schedule. Day 1, pick one specific niche and select your primary AI tool. Days 2 and 3, produce 3 to 5 sample formats. Think along the lines of a testimonial, an unboxing, or a problem solution video. Day 4, build a really simple portfolio page featuring those samples, your rates, and your turnaround times. Days 5 and 6, jump into the meta ad library. Find 5 brands running active ads and pitch them using a tailored script. And finally, day 7, ruthlessly follow up on every single unanswered pitch to close the deal. Remember, most deals close on the follow-up, not that first message. At the end of the day, remember this. Brands were never really paying for a face. They were paying for content that converts, and they want it delivered fast. The avatar was never the product. So are you ready to supply the converting content these brands actually want? Are you going to use this playbook and ship your first AI video this week? Let me know in the comments. And hey, thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.